All right, so this is a suggestion via Discord. You guys sent me this video. You said start at around 31 minutes. Let's go ahead and do that immediately. Jump into it. See what this takes us, guys. We'll comment throughout.
Your eyebrows just nearly exploded, so clearly you don't agree with that.
I think it's just shocking the disgusting misogynistic way that Andrew can't help but talk about women. I mean I would say also, by the way,
a woman?
No, women generally.
A woman? No, I'm sorry. It's not a monolith. If I can critique a woman, that's not critiquing all women. You see how that works?
Critiquing all libs, the whole show.
Yeah.
All libs.
No, these libs. These libs are not all libs.
I'm not a lib. Oh my God, it's so crazy how
yes,
you
you're
guys
a lib, lady.
Everyone that doesn't like.
Why do you sound like one though? I hear you, but like everything you just said pretty much dictates that most likely that's the problem here. Here's the thing. So I know of Andrew. I've seen him on like the Whatever podcast. You guys have sent me a couple of videos from them. And I don't think that he specifically speaks about women as an entire monolith. I don't think that that's the case here. It's generally like a case-by-case study. So whoever we are, in fact, having a conversation about, let's say, right? I don't know if it's wrong or not until we hear more.
Oh my God, it's so crazy how
yes,
you
you're
guys
a lib, lady.
Everyone that doesn't like,
you just so happen to be liberal on every social policy, but you're not a liberal.
Liberals are hardly where I'm at on social issues. Anyway, my point is that Scarlett Johansson, Piers, I don't know that I would classify that quote as moaning. What she seems to be talking about is just how her roles have changed over time. I would note that overwhelmingly women are paid less than men, even though the highest actress might be paid as a woman. But I think that what she's saying is it's not a myth that women are paid less. I'm sorry.
Pay myth?
The wage gap. Is that what we're talking about?
That's a whole separate conversation.
I think in Hollywood now it's pretty well equal pay, isn't it? If you get the big roles, I don't think.
Well, I think. I think
in music, most of the biggest stars now are currently women, aren't they? Beyonce, Taylor Swift.
Right, but
I mean, I don't know. I can't think of many industries where women are not actually paid at least or more than men.
Just because there are a few very high-paid women in entertainment industries doesn't mean that women across the board make more than men. And when you look at other industries like finance or tech or some of these other,
that's because of. Listen, Taylor, this is nonsense. That's because of choices that women make. That's because of the number of hours that they work. That's because women take maternity leave. That's because guys work more hours and work harder. There's a whole bunch of reasons we can get into that relate to that.
We actually can adjust it for parity easily.
Can I make a comment about Scarlett, though, here for a second? Because I think what's interesting here is that, listen, she made all of her money being a sex symbol, right? She always had the boobs out. That's how she made her money. She made the decision to accept roles where, yes, she was, part of the male gaze. And that's how she made her fame. I find it really interesting, honestly, that she turns 40. She's older. And now all of a sudden she decides, I'm going to negate all that. Could it be that maybe she's, the male gaze isn't looking at her anymore. She's not getting those roles anymore. And she's now realizing there's a younger woman on the block. There's a hotter woman on the block. Okay, I'm not getting those roles. So
and he's, by the way, to complete
now that I made all my money.
To complete.
That's exactly it. Let's just be serious here.
A conspiracy theory is that why Charlize Theron, at the age of 50, has gone out doing podcasts talking about banging 26-year-old guys.
Jeez.
Could that be why? Is it to make Hollywood think I'm still hot and desirable?
I've still got it. I've still got it.
I've still got the young male gaze.
Of course, because there is an insecurity, and women don't like to talk about this, but there is an insecurity that arises in women, particularly in a beauty-driven industry. Hollywood is all about looks. It's all about the female gaze, the male gaze. You see,
it's misogyny that puts that pressure on women.
That's not hatred of women. Taylor, do you know what misogyny means? It means hatred of women. It is not hatred of women to talk about the reality that women, I'm a woman, I'm not a misogynist. Women get more insecure as they age about their looks when they're in a beauty-driven industry. That's why Botox exists. That's why filler exists.
Well, let me go to the expert on the panel when it comes to male gazes at beautiful women. Ernest, your thoughts on this?
Who's Ernest?
No, I mean,
he's the expert?
To be honest, I think that two things can be true at the same time. People have the right to evolve. and also see things reflectively. What you do in your young age, I mean, heaven forbids, I mean, you all claim that you all don't support cancel culture, but, you know, a lot of you all would make the case that maybe she did at one point in time when she was younger, may have thought that's what she needed to do and that's how she got her career. But maybe years later, she can get older and reflect.
Okay, so listen, bro, when it's easy, you're going to take the easy route out. That's just kind of where you're going. Obviously, she was incredibly beautiful when she was like 20 to 30. Let's just say that. Then, obviously, as she aged, what started to happen around her was that she realizes that there was a brand new 20-year-old every single day, basically. And then she started to realize that she could no longer capitalize off of exclusively her looks or the male gaze, based off the conversation here, and realized that she understood that, and now she's like, this is evil. This is kind of what happens when you see like the single aunt in your family who's been married like 5 times, that type of thing, right? You don't take advice from people like that, all right? Just because she got to this point in her life where now she's starting to realize that, oh no, maybe I should have, I don't know, most likely settled down and stopped this craziness when I was younger. I would have had probably a better chance in life, type of thing. But yeah, she aged out. Now she's bitter about this. This is kind of the sound. This is what it sounds like to me, at least. Outsider looking in here, guys.
And say, hey, some of the stuff I did back then.
And by the way, Ernest, it's the same. It's the same with men, right? I mean, it's the same with male movie stars. When they cross a point where the female gaze moves from them to a younger, hotter model. It's exactly the same the other way around.
Yeah, but it's normally at like 50.
Look at the hot movie male stars of 20 years ago. They're not there anymore.
Right, but the difference is, though, with those roles, that's actually not true all the way. A lot of these older men do get to evolve and date younger women. What we don't see that much in Hollywood.
No, I mean female moviegoers going to see male movie stars. The reason they go moves from the female gaze at a hot young movie star to something different when they get older, right? So it's in other words, it works the same way.
But that's not the same, though. They can get a range. What I think that happened with Scarlett Johansson, a lot of these actresses, is that what you'll see with men is that they can do both. They can do the Oscar-winning Leonardo DiCaprio films, and they can also do the sex symbol films. They can also do it simultaneously and still get the awards. Versus what we see with women in Hollywood, it seems to be a double standard where prestige films that they can be in and star in, oftentimes they don't get the chance to be the ingenue or play into the sex role. But if they do go that way, they can't have both ways. So Denzel can be both. But Scarlett Johansson couldn't do both most of that.
Okay, yeah, but why? Okay, but why would you complain then? Why would you complain and say, "Oh, the male gaze is so terrible," and then take the role as a woman? Why would you take the role if the male gaze is such a problem for money?
She should just own it.
Hang on. Let him answer the question. Why is it that if you really saw this as a problem from a feminist view, the male gaze, as a female actress who's aspiring, why would you take the role? Aren't you just selling out for money, dude?
Yes, that's exactly what the reason.
I mean, I'm not the one. I'm not a woman, so I'm not the one taking the role. But I'm saying something like I'm saying before.
See how they don't answer any questions? They just refuse.
No, I'm answering your question. Did you not let me finish? I'm answering your question. What I'm saying is that you, at the end of the day, it's none of these things. Like even the way that people vote for certain elected officials. It's never one size fit all. She had survival. She wanted to get her career. She wanted to do certain things. Does she have regrets? I don't know. But what I will say is that there's a lot of factors that people do when they make their decisions, right? There's certain people where you don't agree with everything on all aspects, but you do some. And I think at a certain point,
Ernest, I hear what you're saying, Ernest. It just
super
seems
convenient.
a little convenient, though.
Yeah,
it just seems a little convenient to make
yes.
all of your money off of being a sex symbol and an overt sex symbol. I mean, half naked, this, that. You make all your money that way. Right. You should own it. She should be coming out and saying,
I totally agree. I think I think that the women I admire in the entertainment world are the ones who are smart but are unafraid to say, I use my sex appeal and it makes me tons of money, as well as my smarts, as well as my talent. It's a whole package. Same with
not
the guys,
the fakeness,
right?
guys.
If you're a hot movie star who's got talent, you're going to make more money than an ugly one. It's as simple as that. It's not fair. Life isn't fair.
Hollywood's not fair.
No, it's vain and shallow.
This was a bizarre moment last week in the House of Commons here in the United Kingdom. So just for background, we have a woman called Rachel Reeves, who is the first female Chancellor of the Exchequer, so the second most powerful person in the British government, the treasurer, if you like, of the United Kingdom. And she did the one thing which I guess most women who had voted for her would have wished she hadn't done, which is that the weekly Prime Minister's questions with Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, she was openly crying in the background. Now, this followed a very bad week for the government, very bad week for her. One of the signature policies that had to perform a big U-turn on. She apparently been seen having a blazing row with some colleagues and with the Speaker of the House. She then came out the next day grinning like a Cheshire cat, a little too much for my credible belief, and said that there was a personal issue going on, the details of which have not emerged.
Okay, so what he's saying is that she's trying to play it as what I went through at work had nothing to do with why I was so overly emotional. Is the vibe I'm getting?
I suspect they won't. Andrew, the problem I have with this is that I think a lot of women will have felt let down, that you finally get a female Chancellor of the Exchequer, and within a few months she's crying in the most high-profile televised moment of each week in the House of Commons, and it looks like it's just because she had a bad week.
Well, gee, who could have predicted this? Who could have predicted that women who are in positions of power may act overtly emotional just based on, well, even the hormones in their body? I am so stunned. I'm shocked. I can't believe that women everywhere are stunned and shocked that women, when they become very emotional, begin crying. It's no shock to me, of course. No shock to anybody else on this panel.
Let me ask Jedediah.
Inside of your leadership,
Jedediah, as a woman,
leadership scale, you should.
All right, Jedediah, as a woman, are you comfortable with what you're hearing from Andrew there?
I actually am comfortable with it, to be completely honest, because the truth is that men and women are different and we are emotional. And I kind of wear the fact that I have an emotional cycle that goes like this throughout the month, like we all do, like a badge of honor, because it's what makes me a woman. The thing is, you can't be in a leadership position and act like that. As an example, do y'all remember John Boehner? John Boehner was a disaster. He was always crying. So this is not exclusive to women. Let's just say that this can happen.
I totally agree. If this had been, I think if it had been a man, a male Chancellor of the Exchequer crying, he'd have got whacked even more.
Well, yeah, it would have. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you're not supposed to. Right, you're not supposed to specifically do that type of thing in public, right? Specifically in this type of, at this scale at least. Nothing's wrong with crying. Cry if you want to cry, whatever, do your thing, bro, right? But when you are trying to represent your country, so other people do not immediately think you're weak, I'm not sure that you should be crying every moment of the day over some of the smallest things. How are you getting so emotionally involved into things that are generally logical, right? Running a country is moderately logical. All right, but either way,
that's the difference. Because if you remember,
Howard Dean got ran out for a scream. I mean, come on.
People were making fun of him all the time. He was the laughing stock. The difference is here, a lot of people jump and make excuses. Well, she had a bad day. Honestly, I don't care that you had a bad day. You're in a leadership position. I mean, the bond market had a sell-off because this woman was crying. Yeah. These have real ramifications. So I think what Andrew's getting at is, listen, men and women are different. And it does beg the question, if we are naturally more emotional, and we are by nature.
Women are not.
We are.
No, they're not.
Listen,
yes, they are.
Look at how
they
are.
All right, Taylor, I have a question for you. Taylor, if Donald Trump...
Is that a real statement here? Guys, listen, when someone says something like that, I don't know. I mean, I can only go off my personal experiences exclusively. I've never actually researched specifically if women are more emotional in general than men are, but I know women are the ones who are generally crying and hyper emotional. So I need to know which one is a true statement. I'm guessing. I'm asking you guys in the comments. Which one is it here? Because my experience with women in my life is just wild levels of emotions, like being barely able to control emotions consistently. Always offended at something, always crying at something, caring about how things are said rather than the actual meanings of the words that are coming out of the mouth. So I hear you, but my experiences absolutely differ from what this person on the end here is saying.
His bottom lip began to tremble. And he started crying on national TV when he was addressing the Congress or something. I mean, come on, you'd absolutely murder him.
He's having tantrums every week. He's having emotional meltdowns.
He isn't crying.
That's not the same thing.
Yeah, then we don't care about that, bro. I hear what you're saying here, but the important part is not to look weak. What you're perceiving as weakness is legitimately the exact opposite of what the majority of the planet will dictate as weakness, right? It's because you want that to be a thing.
Ever seen Donald Trump cry in public?
Okay, I'm not talking about crying.
Yes,
listen, here's the thing. Andrew does not like women having any type of emotion. Outside of nodding their head,
what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
He didn't actually say that. He said that. He said women. Ernest, hang on. He didn't actually say. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Stop talking, Ernest. Ernest.
I'm acting like Andrew right now.
Ernest. Stop talking for a moment.
You're acting like
all
a woman,
Andrew said.
Exactly. Did you hear what Andrew just said? You act like a woman, bro. Like you're overly emotional, bro, for some reason.
Andrew right now.
Ernest. Stop talking for a moment.
You're acting like a woman,
Andrew
bro.
said was women are more emotional. He wasn't surprised, right? He wasn't sort of damning women for being emotional. He just said they are more emotional. Do you dispute that?
Yeah, well, and she actually said no, they're not. How would you ever even dispute this? It's objectively true.
She has to in her head.
The hormone functions that are inside of women are different than the ones that are inside of men. That is objectively true in general. Can you point to some women who are more? Hang on. Can you point to an outlier of some women? Hang on. I'm almost done. Calm down. Can you point to some women? Can you point to some women and say that they're more emotionally stable? Sure, but on average, women have far more emotional regularity than men do. In fact, they have one time of the month.
Taylor, would you say you're more emotional than your male colleagues when you worked with men?
Oh gosh, I've worked with men that have cried in.
Yeah, anecdotal evidence is she seems to live within the exceptions, and I don't understand why that generally is a thing. You guys have sent me a couple of videos regarding these type of topics, and I'm starting to literally notice that when some of the women that specifically are coming from this thought process, this ideology that the woman on the end here is coming from, there always seems to be some anecdotal evidence. There always seems to be some type of exception. You want to disregard the rule of the actual thing, like this thing is of the nature of this, right? Instead of saying that I know 3 people who are the exact opposite. Well, okay, we have like 9 billion people on Earth out of 3 people, bro. I hear you. Live in your exceptions.
My arms, and it's so funny for Andrew to say this.
Those aren't men, honey.
Andrew is the one that is
right.
Out. Andrew is the one that is losing his mind on this panel, screaming and shouting and making fun and doing all these.
Screamed and shouted at anybody. What are you talking about? Do you think that, like, if you just assert lies, that people who watch this aren't going to be able to see that they're clearly lies?
Right now, shouting over me. Listen to this. This is crazy. You have absolutely
That's not
shouting.
That's not shouting.
Taylor, let me ask you this.
I think those hoop earrings are hurting your brain, lady.
We can do this for a second, woman to woman, Taylor, because I will say to you, Taylor, there is no question about it that when you look at Taylor, when you look at a man, his testosterone is pretty steady. His whether you like it or not, his hormones are steady. That's what comprises a man. When you look at our hormones, they do this naturally. That's why we have a cycle. That's why we have the beautiful gift of being able to make babies. That's what makes women women. So yes, there can be an outlier over here and there. John.
She said no, it does not. Jesus, I mean, listen. There's just some people you just can't speak to. Guys.
Make babies. That's what makes women women. So yes, there can be an outlier over here and there. John Boehner. I use the example of John Boehner, but it's very, very safe to say that in general, women are more emotional than men. And that does beg the question then, if women are in leadership roles where there are serious ramifications like a bond market sell-off, if that woman is seen crying, is that a good look overall for the country? The answer is no. Now, we can sit and have a debate over whether women should be in positions of power or not, but we can't have a debate over whether women are more emotional because hormonally, that's just a fact.
Taylor?
They don't like facts, bro.
But her colleagues are crying in her arms, though. They're crying in her arms.
I mean,
is she in California?
Yeah, I had a colleague that cried after something horrific happened.
That's not the same thing. Oh my God!
You made it sound like men were coming to you and falling to pieces, and they were more emotional.
I had a male colleague cry in my arms. I've witnessed somebody die in front of my face at my job because I'm a
Is that the same thing?
That's not the same thing.
More emotional. Yeah, I know. It's so ridiculous. You're straw man.
Okay, no, I can't do this anymore, guys. Listen, I'm all down for people having different thought processes and moving through life differently, different ideologies. But sometimes when it's just that illogical, where it just makes 0 sense on earth, it's kind of hard to consistently partake in the conversation because the person at the end here is not saying anything valuable. Right? Like, make your arguments. I want to hear your arguments. But then when you start saying one thing, and then the exact opposite is true, and it's just too much for me to handle, bro. All right, I'm just gonna be honest, can't do it. But either way, listen, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys later. I'll go ahead and put the the link for the video itself in the description. So if you guys want to watch the whole thing, it's about an hour. Have fun, guys. All right. I'll catch you guys later.